Just along the white cliffs of Dover, set in a vast area of natural linksland, lies Royal St George's, a course that will this year become host to the Open Championship for the 14th time. Near to the ancient town of Sandwich, the venue has its share of great champions. Harry Vardon and Walter Hagen both triumphed here twice, and in more recent years, the course has witnessed some dramatic finishes. But it all began back in 1894, when Royal St George's became the setting for the first Open to be staged outside Scotland. It was won by the English professional J.H. Taylor, with a total of 326 that remains the highest winning score in the history of the Open. Vardon was the winner at Sandwich in 1899, when a player's strike had been averted by raising the first prize to £50. He won here again in 1911, and no one has yet equalled his record of 6 Open Championships. By 1922, though, the Americans were taking over. Walter Hagen was their greatest showman. He became the first native-born American to win the Open Championship, and did so again at Royal St George's 6 years later in 1928. In 1934, the legendary Henry Cotton ended the decade of American domination and broke all records with a round of 65 on his way to victory. It wasn't bettered for 43 years, and he accepted the trophy and the first of his 3 Open titles. The Great Gale of 1938 almost made a travesty of the championship. The exhibition tent was blown down and much of its content was deposited in the sea a mile away. In the final round, only 7 players broke 80, and Reg Whitcomb won by 2 shots. In 1949, Ireland's Harry Bradshaw famously found his drive in the neck of a broken bottle. Unsure about the relevant rule, he played it as it lay and made a double bogey 6 in the second round, tied for the title with Bobby Locke. The true cost of a spectator's carelessness became apparent when Bradshaw lost the 36-hole playoff by 12 shots. It was the first of Bobby Locke's 4 Open titles, and the South African later named his house Sandwich to commemorate the victory. The Open wasn't to return to Royal St George's for 32 years, when the champion was Texan Bill Rogers, who many thought of as a surprise winner. He wasn't. For that one golden year of his life, the American was undoubtedly the best player in the world. He may have had some trouble reaching the final green, but none at all when he was on it. Royal St George's proved that year that it could still host a modern Open, and had to wait just 4 years to be awarded the privilege again. 1985 was Sandy Lyle's year. The big Scot became the first British winner since Tony Jacklin 16 years previously, but not without a heart-stopping moment on the 72nd hole.
He's got his most lofted club, needs to keep it near the ground and get it firmly into the bank. Oh, he's going to block it. Played the wrong club there.
The putt Sandy had left himself was horribly difficult, but he played it perfectly, down the slope to within a couple of feet. And this, for the 5, was enough to give Sandy Lyle the 1985 championship with a 4-round total of 2 over par, 282. The Scot then had to wait an agonising 25 minutes for confirmation that he was the Open champion. To 1993, and the defending champion Nick Faldo made the headlines on day 2. A wonderful round of 63, tying the lowest round ever recorded in the Open Championship. Faldo once again the man to beat, until the Great White Shark produced golf's Norman Conquest. A determined Greg Norman started the final day 1 shot behind Faldo. From there, he set his target. But at the 17th green, when Norman checked his position on the leaderboard for the first time in the final round, it proved to be a costly move. It was his only bogey of the day, however, and with a near-flawless final round of 64, Greg Norman was magnificent in lifting the claret jug a second time. 10 years later, the best players in the world once again locked horns over the last few holes at Royal St George's. After round 3, it was Thomas Bjorn who took the lead as the only player to complete 3 rounds under par. But everything was still to play for, as only 3 shots separated him from 8 other players. One of whom was the little-known American Ben Curtis, who changed the nature of the final afternoon with birdies on the 9th, 10th and 11th holes. What would follow would be one of the most painful moments of Thomas Bjorn's career. Having found sand at the 16th hole, it took him not one, not two, but 3 attempts to get out. He walked off with a damaging double bogey 5 that handed the title to Curtis.
And with a score of 283, the winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer for the year is Ben Curtis.
And so Ben Curtis will this year return to the scene of his success, alongside a stellar field for the 140th Open Championship at Royal St George's.